your source for all things Texas Tech. This is the Ask Level podcast from the Double T Sports Network.
History has been made for Red Raider football. Now can they keep building and solidify this team as the best ever in Lubbock? In today's episode, we look back at the trouncing in Morgantown, Behren Morton's legacy, preview the Big 12 title game against BYU, talk about another wobbly week for Tech basketball, and we'll answer a bundle of questions from the audience. Ask Level podcast, as usual, brought to you by our friends at Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This is Mike Hebert, the proud owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. We've been serving West Texas for all of your residential and commercial construction needs for the past 9 years. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. Together, we are one serving you.
Level, 11-1, Big 12 championship week. It's pretty tasty.
That's trouncing, wobbly. Yeah, you're working them in, man. Yeah, you knew you were going to get me too.
I know.
I think it's on purpose now at this point. I think you're trying to get a false start on you. Yeah, man, at 11-1, I don't know what we thought it was going to take. It turned out that I guess it didn't. You could have gotten into the title game at 7-2, so you could have afforded a second loss.
Sure.
You ended up going 8-1, but now you've got, I think, the Big 12's best, putting your best foot forward with the league, and yeah, I mean, so and it was weird dynamic, right?
Sure.
This is what everybody had wanted to achieve, and you find out in a hotel room at like 1:30 in the morning, East Coast time on Friday night.
Yeah.
Part of your goals have been accomplished. It was just kind of that was a weird dynamic, and like there's really nobody to high five or
Right.
hug, or you're just like, oh, okay. And
we knew that was a possibility heading in.
Sure. And when obviously we're rooting for said possibility.
Right.
But you just didn't know how this was ultimately going to play out. It would have been, I think, in a way different if it would have been a week before. And I guess looking back on it, I think you're probably glad that it played out this way, in that it wasn't the week before. I don't know if that would have changed the dynamic or changed your mindset, but it was probably good for you that you had to operate all week like winner in, losing out, kind of thing. And I just don't think that this is an old team that was going to wake up and going, okay, we can take a deep breath now. We're good. And no, West Virginia, they got it. They got it all day, and they got fake punts. They got deep passes. They gave up long runs. They got almost no first downs. So they just got it, and they got it all day. So, and that's become a bit of a lopsided series in recent years.
Yes.
I mean, this has been there's just certain teams, right? Like you worried about the Kansas State game because of history, and this is one where, man, granted, you had lost the last time that you came up to Morgantown, and you had a significant quarterback injury and another one that wasn't really reported at the time with your current starter now, and he played through it. But yeah, this has been a lopsided affair between these two programs in recent years. But I will repeat, they got it, and they got it all day.
Man, it seems like every time there's been any sort of question of a letdown or a trap game or a hangover, anything like that, this team has answered the call, and I mean, as much as they possibly could. Like 49-0 speaks for itself, and that was with you obviously taking your foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. So this team has been extremely impressive and level. You've got a game in front of you this week, another box to check that you've never done before, which is a Big 12 championship. Never been there, obviously, but trying to get that first Big 12 championship in football. But you're starting to get into the conversations. If you listen and look at the national conversations, of hey, this Big 12, this Texas Tech team, they're they're legit to contend for the whole thing, the whole enchilada. So, I mean, you look at your results and you look at some of the stats that go with it. Texas Tech put out the stat of 20 plus win teams, or sorry, 11 wins, 20 points or more has only happened 6 times in college football in 100 years. Now with Texas Tech being the sixth team, and four of those other five have won national championships too. So this team is a pretty amazing machine to watch throughout the season, and it's been fun to appreciate that.
Yeah, and I I'm probably guilty of not appreciating this as much as I should have all throughout because of the past,
Sure.
because of um, and when you're in it like we are,
Hmm.
and you're it's part of this is your gig. It's you're because I hugged Antonio Huffman
Hmm.
after it was over, and the players were walking off the field, and I just walked up to him, and he just kind of smiled and didn't say anything, and I said, "Man, I hope that you are getting to." And he had the same thing because you're just worried about, and the head coach says it all the time.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
And I've just kind of been in that frame of mind because it's like the next game, the next
Sure.
potential reason to worry, the next injury to go, uh-oh. And I think it will really hit me Saturday morning in that stadium
Yeah.
that you've played in before. That's not going to be
Sure.
rare to us. I've been in that stadium for Texas Tech games many times, and it often hasn't gone well. That spans back to the Mike era when you were playing Baylor there every year, and they beat you, so many years in a row. And um, but this is like the culmination of just like you know, dreams and plans and finances and development and evaluation.
Right.
And I think, yeah, it will really hit home Saturday morning, like to where you can just really sink your teeth into it and appreciate it. And yet you just want to finish it. You
Yes.
want to finish. But yeah, and that's all. I'm going to look at the CFP rankings. I think there's a conversation to have about
Hmm.
you win what happens, you lose what happens. There's no doubt about that. I think there is some thought that if you lose this game, and especially if you lose a close one, you're still in. You may be traveling in the first round
Could
if
be.
that would be the case. We'll probably have a better feel for that um, once you get the rankings, especially if you move up at all. But I'm just I think this is about Saturday. This is about hanging a banner, man, and like
Hmm.
being the best in your league because I think that so much of what you've done will feel a bit un,
Fulfilled.
well, yeah, unsatisfied
Yeah.
if you don't finish the whole thing here. And and the thing is, BYU probably, I don't think it's fair. I think it sucks. I think it's a
Well, it's
scary scenario for the Big 12 conference
agreed.
if BYU doesn't get in as an 11 win team. But this may be the reality that we're staring at. And I felt all along this is a kind of a one bid league, and maybe what you're staring at here. I just hope that you're not, necessarily involved in that. But so I haven't really looked at it like what you're saying, but you
Hmm.
you can play ball well into 2026.
There's not a team in the country level that is unbeatable for Texas Tech, obviously.
Yeah, Ohio State was going to be a problem for a lot of people,
They
especially if the wide
are.
receivers are healthy. But but
They
yeah, I mean they're yeah that. But I mean you. if you stay healthy and if you play your typical game, I don't disagree with your premise. You just, but see, now you're getting into
Sure.
the now you're getting into where you better be playing like some of your best version of
Sure.
yourself.
Sure.
And then you get into, because this includes this Saturday, but like, turnovers and penalties and things like that. Like you've had some margin for error that is about to not be there anymore. So, but I'm just here to enjoy Saturday, and I hope that that place is red all over. And so anyway, it should be a lot of fun.
All right, so we got quite a few questions, and then we'll get to looking at BYU and basketball and those sorts of things. Um, and some of these are look ahead questions, so watch out, Level. This one comes from Jason. It says, "Will Tech move up in the college football playoff rankings this week? And what is the highest Tech could get to by the final rankings?"
The Ohio State Indiana winner is probably going to be number one after this is over,
Yep.
depending on the how that game goes and the score of it. I don't see the loser dropping too far. They would drop, but not too far, I don't think. But they may be playing for a spot in the Rose Bowl, okay,
Okay.
theoretically,
Yep.
with that win. And um, I think you could move up to certainly to four. I hadn't looked at it close enough to know, like, because we need to see what the rankings are before you get into the weekend and
Right.
results you're kind of rooting for and all that.
So the first part of the question was, what do you think Tech will be ranked?
I mean, I think that they're either going to stay where they're at or they're going to move up to four. That's what I think will happen. But I just don't know what else that comes with. But it's
Mhm.
obviously, how much do you drop A&M? Do you drop them from 3 to 5? Do you drop them from 3 to 6? Um, I don't know. And obviously A&M has not played the best of the SEC.
Mhm.
We all are aware of that, and that game got a bit out of hand the other night. So I don't know. We'll see. But again, I go back to Saturday's the most important game that anybody's ever played in or coached in their
Sure.
entire lives in that group. Period. There's just no way around it. And BYU probably saying the exact same. But there's no more important game that anybody associated with either program has really ever participated in to this point.
Yep.
That's just the reality of it.
This one comes from Mark. It says, of the four quarterfinal bowls, which would you most want Tech to play in and against whom?
Oh, so you're talking about like on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day?
Yes.
Well, the
Assuming you
Cotton
get
Bowl, of course. I mean, like, yeah, the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve, I believe, is what that's set for. I think,
it
yeah,
is. Yep.
December 31st. Sign me up right now. I don't give a damn who it's against. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I've seen you projected to play Oklahoma. I've seen some different things, but I don't
Aggies.
care who it's against. Yeah, just you can show back up at AT&T Stadium a month later or 3 or 4 weeks later. Yeah, man, what else could you ask for? I mean, that's what else could you possibly ask for?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that one's as far as fan base, it would be an unbelievable atmosphere there in the Cotton
And
Bowl.
that's yeah, and that's where you get into when you start getting into seating with 3 or 4 and all those kinds of things. It's proximity, it's kind of all that stuff. So, because you could get sent to what is it, New
Miami,
Orleans or
Miami, New Orleans,
yeah.
Pasadena, and Arlington are the four
Yeah, I mean, I
quarterfinals.
think I think New Orleans or Arlington would be a lock if you're at 3 or 4. Obviously, I don't think you're going to end up going to Miami or to Pasadena, but we'll see, man.
Yeah,
We'll
you
see
never
what
know.
all this looks like. This is just so foreign and it's just
Sure it is.
uncharted. And yeah, we can dare to dream, but I guess this has all been about the Big 12 championship because the Big 12 championship takes you to these other places. But I just still am of the mindset that you've got to go win the Big 12 championship, and then let's see what happens. I'm not trying to like not get into the conversation. It's what we do, but yeah, that's an easy. I mean, the Cotton Bowl, man. I mean, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Um, Dusty asks, where will Behren Morton rank among Tech quarterbacks all time after this season is over?
Well, he's gonna rank in a different category now, considering all that he's gone through. But that those chapters are still being written.
Yeah,
If he brings home a championship, if he and statistically others will have been better, but nobody has endured more. I mean, he played most of the season with a broken leg,
hmm
Woodman. I mean, like, what do
yeah,
and it's a different kind of game than it was 15, 20 years ago too. Your schemes are different. This
sure.
team is built different than other teams. Um, but like I thought that he was about as impressive as anybody on Saturday versus West Virginia in a game where in the cold and all. I
hmm
just thought he was really, really good, and he got hit a couple of times, but for the most part, I mean, it was pretty impressive with the deep balls. Chubb wasn't bad either
No,
with
he
with the
wasn't.
deep balls either. Yeah, but I think I guess I don't want to answer that question yet, just because we don't know what it looks like. But he could be in a kind of a different category, because as good as you've had
Yeah.
with other guys, this, he deserves a lot of credit here. And you're just kind of holding your breath every time out there. And what he's having to play through, I just think that it's been very impressive.
And you mentioned statistics. Yeah, he won't be up there with some, but he moved to top four all time in passing touchdowns and passing yardage on Saturday. So he's on the career lists. He's definitely up there with some of your best. But yeah, I'm with you. You got to wait and let this story finish out before you can fully judge where he's at. But he is got a chance to be up there in a different conversation. Sam asks, Level, can you give us any injury updates on David Bailey, Griffiths, Sampson, and anybody else that got hurt on Saturday?
No, Joey just said after the game that everybody that played in this game or started this game, he expected to play this week. So I think you'll know more as the week goes along. Um, Bailey's the one that you would be the most worried about, and
Sure.
then obviously Griffiths. I'm not worried about Sampson at all, but
Sampson came back in and played
he did, he
after,
did.
so
Yeah,
that
so that's worth monitoring. But just take the coach for at his word, and he's not one that plays the games and all that stuff. And it is worth, for BYU. I think that's the left guard that started against you hasn't played the last two games. Chase Roberts, one of their starting wideouts,
Mhm.
did not play last week against UCF, and he had been a bit dinged up. I think got dinged up against Cincinnati. So we'll just kind of see. But both of these teams, large in part, should be for the most part healthy, minus the guys that they've lost for the year that we've already known about.
makes sense. Let's see. All right, let's get to before we do any basketball or anything else. There is one more question that's sort of football related. Level, do we expect any signing day surprises this week? Crazy, you've got signing day right in the middle of the week of a busy
Yeah,
one.
I mean, at this point, you hope not. I don't think there's not necessarily any, I think you're full. I don't know. There's always something going on. LaDainian Guyton would be the one that I would just, again, until his letter comes in, that's the one that you need to pay attention to.
Sure.
Um, but other than that, I think, because I mean, 17 of the 19, I think I'm right there, are supposed to be here in a few weeks,
Yeah.
which is this is part of the sport that has drastically changed with the
hmm
times, and that this has become part of the norm. And Texas Tech will tell these guys, hey man, if you're going to go compete for a state championship in basketball or track, hey man, stay put. Go do your thing. But other than that, come on.
Yeah.
And it's it's a massive difference when you show up in January versus when you show up in June.
Yeah.
Because like LaDainian Guyton, he's going to be part of the rotation next year at the defensive end position. He may not be a starter, but he's going to be part of the rotation. That's just a fact. Now, I don't know if that would be necessarily as possible, or that you could plan on that if he wasn't here in January.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's the guy that obviously reclassified too. So
Mhm.
he needs as many of those springtime reps as possible. Okay, level BYU.
He's also really good.
He is he is that. BYU is a team obviously that you've played before. Won the matchup 29 to 7, a 22-point win for the Red Raiders. I think both fan bases probably look at this game um, as one where it could have gone differently. BYU fans are like, well, if we would have had LJ Martin fully healthy and this and that, if it wasn't played in Lubbock, there's some of those what ifs. And then Texas Tech, you win 29 to 7, but you settled for 5 field goals in that game too. So that margin could have been much larger. So this BYU team level, we're not used to seeing a team 2 times in a season in college football. It's a rarity. Obviously, I don't remember a time in my lifetime that Texas Tech has seen a team twice in a season. So, what are you anticipating in this matchup on Saturday?
Well, I think each other knows what the other is.
Yeah.
I think you can, from the BYU standpoint, I think they may not, it's not going to be a road game for them. They'll know what to expect. Same with Texas Tech, obviously. And yeah, you're probably right. JoJo Phillips, I think, is healthier. He's one of their wideouts that have been missing some of the start of the season. He's a big time transfer. LJ Martin will probably be healthier. I mentioned to you their left guard.
Hmm.
We'll see what his, and then we'll see obviously with Chase Roberts, their other skill. But their identity is going to be running the football. Happens to be your strength. You're as good as anybody in the country at stopping and limiting that. And you kind of wondered after the first couple of series against BYU the first time when LJ Martin popped off a 10 or 12 yarder, and you're like, and then it just stopped. And he finished with what, like 37 yards, 35 yards, whatever it
Hmm.
was. And they only ran for 67 as a team. You made their quarterback look like a freshman. This will be a big stage. This will be a big stage and an electric atmosphere. And we'll see how everybody handles that on both sides of it. But you're going to have to help them if they're going to win this game, in my opinion. That's just the way that these teams are built.
Yep.
It's a bad matchup for BYU, just the way that these teams are built, strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that. BYU's a bad matchup for other teams. It just so happens that Texas Tech's not one of those.
Yeah.
If you were to convert and be better in the red zone, I think what BYU would be hoping for something similar is that they really tighten up in the red zone and things like that, and play it similar, and have to trade field goals. And I'm obviously Texas Tech saying, hey, we got to be a bit better in the red zone, and because you just think about how many drops you had, things like that. How many times Behren probably should have thrown the ball away and didn't, and took some big sacks, taking yourself out of the red zone and stuff like that. So you're right. I'm sure that there's different ways of looking at this thing, and it should have been a lot closer, or it should have been a lot, should have beat them 40 to 7 or
Right.
40, 45 to 7, whatever it is. But I don't know if this one will be an easy one for Texas Tech. I didn't think it last week would be easy, and it was.
Hmm.
But here's what I would say, though, too. You can expect BYU to empty the bucket on gimmicks, specials, gadgets, because they have no choice. I think they're going to have to go into this thing without us knowing what the rankings are at this point.
Yeah.
I think they're going to feel like they've got to win to get in. And they are also built to where they're going to take some chances anyways, even unconventional ones. Some fakes at different times of the game or at different parts of the field, or they're going to try to catch you a little bit. And I won't be surprised if Texas Tech operates a little bit like that too, just to kind of throw a few punches, if you know what I mean. So we'll see, but I absolutely expect BYU to empty their bucket. Kingston, their receiver number 11, he's kind of their big gadget guy. And so, we'll just kind of see what we get. But I mean, this is the best the Big 12 has to offer up here. So we'll kind of, and I don't, as we're sitting here talking, I don't know what's real and what's not on the Kalani Sitake and Penn State.
Yeah,
He's either legitimately interested or he's leveraging this to enhance his own situation and his staff situation in Provo. But he's got so many ties to the state of Utah and to BYU and all that stuff. So I don't, it seems like a bizarre. I don't know if I'm buying into that or this distraction, but if there's anything real to that's a weird dynamic that I was not on my bingo card.
sure.
Kind of like the word trounce or the word wobbly.
We'll get to the wobbly in a little bit.
Okay, got it.
The yeah, that is an interesting one for sure. Wouldn't surprise me from the Penn State side for them to pursue him, a coach that runs the football well and plays good defense, because that kind of fits Penn State. But I don't know. But it would be kind of weird for what you said. I mean, he's a BYU grad, so
Well, unless he's sitting there saying, "Wait, I'm going to at least have 11 wins and I'm not already in."
you might be right there.
Because
Yeah.
if he was the Penn State head coach and he had 11 wins, we're not even talking about this.
No, we're talking about okay, they're a
Yeah.
three
I mean,
seed, a
and
four
so,
seed. Yeah,
but I don't know what his goals are. I don't know what's most important to him, but it's worth pointing that out.
true.
And it's unfortunate because, yeah, man, I don't agree with it. I don't, yeah, this is the part where you start pairing Notre Dame to some of I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's a problem, and you just hope that Texas Tech doesn't find themselves in that kind of conversation either. And there's no guarantee that that you won't. You just got to. That's why go win that trophy, man.
Yeah,
Let somebody else worry about all that.
I get the concern. I get it. I get the cynic as Red Raider fan, but I also think you've demanded respect all year from the committee, and that's why you're sitting where you are and why I think you probably will be in the top four this week. You've demanded it because of how dominant this football team has been.
And is it the worst thing if you still stay at 5? I
No,
mean, you
it's
don't
not the
think
worst.
Joey will use that? Whereas if you're at 4 and then the whole sentiment is okay, they're in no matter what. I mean, I could see where, because I mean, I'm almost wondering here if you're either not playing until New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, or you're going to have to travel. The scenario of a home game may be the one that could be theoretically eliminated, depending on like based on your line of thinking.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just and so much out there is still to be determined, but
Sure.
a loss and still being in could cause you to travel
Right.
in the first round, or you could drop to like that 8-9 game to where if you win that, then you're going to be staring at the Buckeyes or Hoosiers.
Sure.
So there's just a lot here, and like you're
There is a
talking about
lot.
trying to go win it all. If you want to do that, you better go win Saturday
Sure.
to improve your scenario as much as you possibly can.
But it circles back around to every time there's been, okay, how is this team going to do? How is this team going to respond? Man, the maturity of this group continues to show up. So I think that's what I expect on Saturday. Like you said, I don't think the matchup's good for BYU. So for this to be, and I don't want to sound like a cocky Red Raider here, but for it to even be a close game inside of two touchdowns, you, you got to be, is it Texas Tech turning the football over,
Yeah, I mean,
penalties, those sorts of
these are
things?
again, the stage will be big.
It will be.
The lights will be really bright. There will be a lot going on here. You just don't know how everybody will handle that.
Mhm.
There will be some things that are uncharacteristic about some aspects of both teams and players that speaks to the stage.
Mhm.
Um, Again, because you're basing everything on your typical game versus their typical game,
Right.
and basing it off of the first matchup. But there'll be some unknowns here that are different. The dynamic will be a bit different, and I'm not worried about covering some spread. I'm not worried
Sure.
about winning by, the style points. Just give me more than the other guy. That's all that matters.
Yep. In this game,
Somebody
yep.
handing that trophy to Joey Maguire and him saying, let's go, or whatever will come to mind when he's on that stage. That's all that matters. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
For BYU to win this game on paper, you will have to help them, i.e., with the turnovers and some of the penalties and doing some things that uncharacteristically haven't bitten you yet. But that's
Yeah.
this is the beauty of sports, though, too, right? And who's to say that, that doesn't hit BYU really hard? Because I think that the formula is you get ahead of these guys, make them play from behind, and then it's a really, because they're not really built to come from behind. But if they can't run it, that's where their problems will start. But if they can run it, you're going to be in a fight,
Yeah.
and nobody. Hey, again, you've given up, some Avery Johnson runs, you give up some LJ Martin runs, but you've been able to corral it and stop it
Sure.
after some initial gashes, and then it's like, okay, now what? So uh, anyway, yeah, it's just this is just wild, man.
It's foreign. Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. So, oh, and by the way, big stage, like you said, they still have a true freshman quarterback coming out there on Saturday. So maybe that plays into your favor a little bit too under the lights. Okay, one more question football wise. It says level, it's a simple one from Dylan. Level, do we see a 16 team playoff next season?
No, I think you're probably looking at another 12 teamer. It's the year after that I think they're just going to kick the can down the road. I think that this thing is going to get expanded. It's just a matter of what it looks like. I mean, the Big Ten wants what, 24, and the SEC wants 16. SEC wants more at large. Big Ten wants more, um, automatic bids. I think they've agreed to like circle back up and in January.
Hmm.
So what you're going to get is they're going to see kind of how this plays out, and this coming Sunday, we're all going to know, because the next time we're doing this, we're going to know everything, right?
Yep.
Who's where, who got the buys, who's in, who's out. Somebody's going to get hosed, and I mean, and anybody that got hosed, you controlled it. Like all you had to do was win your games.
That's how this works. Now,
That's
well,
right. And
maybe,
and
maybe. I mean, but BYU has same or better resume than some around them.
I get it,
And
but if depending on what happens, they can control it if they just win Saturday.
hey, the fastest route to an expansion? Leaving one of the darlings out. So if Texas is out, then
Well, or
you
Notre
might,
Dame.
or Notre Dame, you may
Yeah.
see an
Well,
accelerated
and
process
and
there.
there's odds that again, somebody's going to get squeezed here. We just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a scenario where if Duke wins that ACC title game and you end up with James
Oh man.
Madison and either the North Texas Tulane winner in the playoff, and then you're sitting there with these other teams like squeezed, and I can't sit here and tell you that the 12 best teams are in it at this point. And but that's what they've drawn up here. So,
All right. Now, quick conversation for the wobbly. Lucas says, Level, I'm starting to really be concerned with this basketball team. They didn't seem to have a lot of fire against Wyoming. What is missing with them to you?
well, defense is missing, continuity is missing. because just about the time that you kind of get your pieces going and you got a few weeks, then Jalen Petty and Mariela Quintek is missing. But yeah, there just needs to. And what's interesting is I watched this team up close against Illinois. There's some intense fight going on there, and they almost pulled that off.
Yeah.
And it's there. It wasn't there in the Bahamas, really, in either game, if we're being honest. LSU is likely to be 8-0 when you face them on Sunday in Fort
Right.
Worth. Then obviously Arkansas the week after. And then you got a Northern Colorado game and then Duke. I mean, so the three out of your next four are haymakers, man. So
Yeah.
I do think that maybe these games being like the next game is not for another week, the following game is not for another week. It does allow for more practice time, but you got to get healthy and you gotta have some edge to you. And I think they're trying to figure out maybe how to play Christian Anderson off the ball a little bit
Mhm.
more. So, it's just, again, it's a work in progress. That's what it is. Don't judge it just yet. Don't quit on them. Again, I just go back to last week. It's like, oh, well, at least we got football. Whereas usually it's like, hey, man, at least we got basketball, so just hang in there.
Yeah. Life is a Red Raider. All right, Level. We will see you in Arlington and then get to talk about the fun stuff. Hopefully after that. More fun stuff, I should say.
Yes.
More
Yeah, and
fun.
we'll all get a hopefully just a few weeks to sit back and appreciate what's going on here.
Be
Hopefully there's a
nice.
Big 12 championship to celebrate and to honor and all those things. And then you start turning into a peek at what next year's team is going to look like. And, there's about to be a lot happening,
Yeah.
a lot. Some rulings from the NCAA that could dictate things on your roster and all that stuff. So, we'll just kind of, we'll be here throughout. So, but yeah, I hope to see many of you at AT&T Stadium on Saturday morning. Enjoy it. If you hear anything that I say and you are going to this game, make sure that you are there early. It's going to be a
Yes.
circus.
Yes.
Don't be screwing around with just arrive early. I tried to tell everybody the same thing before the BYU game, but I would offer up the same advice here because it gets a bit congested around there. So make sure you're there early and all that. But Woodman, appreciate the time, my friend. We'll do it again next time.
That's Chris Level. I'm Chois Woodman. You've been tuned in to the Ask Level podcast, brought to you by the Double T Sports Network.
You've been listening to the Ask Level podcast, powered by the Double T Sports Network. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more great content from all of our shows on the Double T Sports Network.